welcome to chapter 3, which is going to involve a presentation of how you can make a self-assessment and identify your personality, and thus strengths, weaknesses, communication and leadership styles. This is Tina Persson. I'm a global career coach, recruiter and headhunter. So when you as a PhD student do your PhD and have done your PhD, you have trained your academic skill set. That means you have become or got an academic training. Now it's time to take the next step. And as I have been going through, training your transferable skills, making an impersonal inventory of your hard and soft skills is your personality. So do you know your soft skills? Do you know who you are? Well, I'm going to ask some questions. When you did your PhD, were there certain kind of people that irritate you? Or were there certain people that you like to be surrounded with? Because that probably says a lot about you. And that's part of building awareness. The starting point to understand who you are from personality. So part of building awareness is to understand your communication style, your leadership style, strength and weaknesses. And since I work as a recruiter, of course, I try to figure out what your weaknesses are. So very common questions that a recruiter or hiring manager ask you when you are going for interviews is, what's your weakness? And there, it's important that you don't consider to think out 3 weaknesses. It actually says that you should be very honest and say, my weakness is that I'm a bad listener. On the other hand, I'm very good in talking and giving presentations. But I have to train my ability to listen. That is to be aware of who you are. So if you want your dream job and building a dream career, start to build your awareness, and personality is part of that. So on this slide here, I'm just briefly going to show what is evaluated when you do a self-assessment. I use 2 different tools when in my work, and that is Big 5 and Lumina Spark. The one you see on this slide here is part of the Big 5. In Big 5, you get assessed and tested for reactivity, extroversion, openness, accommodation, and conscientiousness. Reactivity is, you measure whether you're resilient or reactive or something in between. And extroversion, introverted or extroverted, or maybe you are something in between that we call ambivert. That means you're both introvert and extrovert. Very common actually among many PhDs. Openness is traditional or inquiring. Accommodating, challenging or accommodating. And then conscientiousness, flexible or purposeful. Just to give you an example, if we look on reactivity. If you're very reactive, think about it. How do you react on setbacks? Because it measures how emotionally involved you get when you have a setback. And how long time does it take for you to get back on track after a setback? That is part of reactive or reactivity. Then we take extroversion. A very common again is that I hear from my clients when I coach them, they say, I'm not good in networking because I'm so introverted. And I say, it doesn't have to do with that. You can be introverted and excellent in networking. Introvert just means that you get energy from small groups of people, or you get energy just being by yourself. Extroversion, you get energy by being surrounded with a lot of people. And this is of course important when you look for a job and think you're going to work in a workspace that's an open office and a huge amount of people running around all the time and you're introverted. Isn't it important that you explain for the hiring manager that I prefer to sit on my own so I can think? That says a lot about you. And, that's not negative. It's important to articulate what you get energy from. Another thing is, if you look on the traditional or inquiring, that comes to openness. Many PhD students follow protocols. You're very good on following protocols. That could mean that you're traditional. Inquiring means that you get a lot of new ideas and you change the protocols all the time. So it depends on what kind of job you're looking for in the future. So of course this is part of strength and weakness. But how can it be that? Well, let me give you an example. If your strength is that you're very reactive, that means that you're a little bit nervous. You react very quick on things. That's good. But what's the negative or the weakness of it? Think about it. And then you have, for example, accommodating or challenging. What's the strength and weakness with that? Accommodating could mean, if you're very accommodating, you're afraid of conflicts. You have a hard time to say no. That could be the weakness, but the strength is you will not make enemies. You're the person in the group that will negotiate and keep the team together. So, both strength and weakness. So, in combination, by training your transferable skills, as we did in Chapter 2, and being aware of all your hard skills you trained as a PhD student, in combination with knowing who you are from a self-assessment, will help you to get the dream job. On this slide here, I'm going to ask you some questions. You have them on the slide here, and then you think whether this is something that fits to you, yes or no, because your personality will define your future career. And if you know who you are, it will be easier for you to explain for other people what you're looking for. So, I'm going to read here now 8 statements or questions. Do they fit to you, or does it not fit to you? The first one. There are times when I have regretted acting first and thinking later. Does that fit to you or not? Number 2. I prefer to talk to people rather than communicate in writing. Yes or no? Often I just listen and don't exert influence in a group. Yes or no? I am good at discussing ideas. Yes or no? I can be so focused on the logic of an argument that I hurt people's feelings. Is that correct? Does that fit to you? It is important to me to establish all the facts. Yes or no? I generally approach tasks in an organized way. Yes or no? I tend to be naturally trusting of others. Yes or no? It could be that 2 or 3 of these statements fits to you. It could also be that only one. But look at them and think, and then mark the ones that you believe could fit to you. Because this is part of evaluating your own personality. If you're interested in learning more about your personality, contact your career coach or get a professional evaluation. Thank you for listening. And the next chapter here, number 4, gonna involve CV design for industry, because now you're ready for it. Thank you.